What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, as we're working through some small little common faults and niggles on this beautiful little Porsche Boxster that I've just treated myself to as a little summer project toy, I'm going to be rectifying one of the more common faults on the 986 and 987 Boxsters, which is part of the convertible roof that doesn't quite seat properly after a few years of use, because there's a little bit of elastic inside the hood that slowly wears down and breaks down, loses its elasticity, and because of that, on the roof on both the 986 and the 987s, you will get this issue where the roof doesn't quite sit inside the trim as it should do. When the hood is folding backwards and forwards, there should be a little bit of elastic in the back mechanism of this hood that pulls the corner of each side of the hood taut, and that's what should have the hood running inside this runner that's part of the hood mechanism. And this is on both sides, both the driver's and the passenger side. They both have exactly the same issue. As you can see here, the hood itself is sitting on the outside of the hood mechanism, but it should be on the inside. This is a relatively simple, straightforward fix to be able to fully rectify it. It's just a case of replacing the elastic inside the hood, and then when the hood is opening and closing, the new elastic will then be able to pull the hood taut as the mechanism's opening and closing, and that will then guide this little runner back inside the hood mechanism itself. To be able to repair it, we need to open the hood halfway up, remove a couple of velcro straps that hide the hood mechanism away from the interior. That will allow us to gain access into where the elastic needs replacing, and then we just need to replace the old worn out elastic with some new elastic, and you can do that either by sewing some new elastic in place or just by stapling some as well. I'll see what I've got in the house. If I've got a stapler, I'll go down that method. If I don't, I know I've got some sewing stuff from some of the previous upholstery jobs that I've done on the camper van conversions. So worst case scenario, I'll sew some elastic in, but the quicker, easier method is just to use a stapler. So first things first, we'll get the hood opened up, we'll get the velcro straps removed, and we'll be able to show you the full mechanism inside as well as the worn out elastic. Then we'll get some elastic replacement strips cut down to shape. We'll get them mounted in, and we'll open and close the hood a few times when the new elastic is fitted, just to show that the hood then is actually fitting inside of the mechanism rather than going on the outside, where, as you can see, it's really starting to pull on some of the fabric and some of the stitching. As I say, that's because it's being stretched over the outside of the mechanism. So once this is fully replaced with the elastic inside, both sides will then be able to sit inside the hood mechanism itself nice and flush. So first things first, I'll get the ignition on, we'll get the hood halfway open, we'll get the velcro straps off, and then we'll have a look and see about getting the elastic replaced. Right, so to gain access to the area where we need to carry out the repair, there's just a couple of small little velcro strips. They just come undone, but they stay attached to the inside headliner. So we undo those, and then that opens up the flap on the inside, a little bit easier access. And then if I get my phone in there as well, just for a bit of extra light. You can see it's a little bit awkward really, but it's all doable. All of the worn out elastic, there's absolutely no tension on it at all whatsoever, and this is what we're going to be replacing. As you can see, there is a small little torque screw that we're going to be unscrewing, and we'll be replacing it like for like, and it's a T15 Torx, so we'll get that undone. And then on the elastic side, it all just attaches to this large flap, so we're going to be cutting the elastic where it meets the flap itself. But first off, as I say, we'll get that Torx bit undone first, and that will allow us to pull both the flap and the elastic through, and then we'll be able to get the replacement elastic stapled in place. Now I've gone for inch wide elastic and just a little stapler just to be able to get the elastic attached to the flaps itself. So we'll get the Torx bit undone, we'll get it pulled through, and we'll get it replaced and get it all back in place. And there we can see the old worn out elastic. There's zero tautness or tightness to this at all whatsoever. Now you can see the original elastic does have some slits in it, so you can adjust it as the elastic slowly wears out, but as I say, there's pretty much no stretch in this now at all, so it's not even really worth trying to adjust it anymore. So instead we're just going to be snipping the elastic right there where it cuts, where it attaches to the main flap itself. We'll be doing it probably about an inch shorter than the original, and we'll just replace the similar sort of hole in the middle of the elastic, so we can screw the original screw back in as well. So we'll get this cut off and we'll get a replacement bit of elastic cut down. Right, so there we go, there's the replacement elastic in place. It's fully stapled in now, and that's pretty secure, so that's not going to be going anywhere. And I've just poked a hole through so the torque screw can go through as well. As you can see, there's a lot of stretch in that compared to the old one. So now it's just a case of reversing the procedure. We'll feed it back through, we'll get the torque screw screwed back into the frame, back in the original hole as well. Then we'll replace the Velcro straps and rinse and repeat on the other side. But for the sake of a quick 5-minute easy fix, it's going to make the hell of a difference to the hood itself. So let's get this back in place and then we'll do the other side afterwards. So there's the Velcro straps in place. It's just much easier to do when I'm not holding the camera at the same time, but as I said, that just tidies back up the headliner so you can't see any of the mechanism from behind it as well. But that should be that repair done. So just before we move on to the other side, just to make sure, to double check to make sure that it's right, we might as well just put the hood up now and let's find out. There we go, we can see straight away it's pulled the full hood back inside the mechanism rather than it sitting on the outside, and you can see it's been sitting on the outside for quite a while because it's actually started to leave a bit of a mark on the mechanism itself, so it's definitely a job that needed doing. But it was that quick and easy to do, so let's rinse and repeat and do the other side. Right, so there's the passenger side fully replaced with the strip all fastened in place now, and the Velcro strips are all back on as well. The Velcro strips are much easier when you're not holding the camera in hand as well. So the last thing left to do now is just to put the hood up, just to confirm that both sides are fully repaired now. But for the sake of around about £1's worth of elastic, such a quick easy fix, and it makes a hell of a difference to the hood itself. So let's get the hood up. And we'll secure it. And you can see the driver's side's gone back inside the mechanism nicely. And the passenger side's done exactly the same as well. And as you can see, it's been sitting on the outside for quite some time for it to have left these marks. So it was definitely repaired, that definitely needed doing before it would have continued to possibly even damage the hood and maybe even this mechanism as well. But that's how you can quickly and easily repair a Porsche Boxster hood that's not quite sitting right inside the mechanism, for the sake of a little bit of elastic, a couple of staples and 10 minutes of your time. So I hope you found the video useful. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you on some future videos that we've got coming up. So thanks for watching. Cheers.